Hi, this is Mark from LongIslandWatch.com. Today's a video I've wanted to do for a while. However, even just now sitting down, I don't have all my thoughts in my head yet, so it might seem like I'm rambling like in a lot of videos. However, I have an end goal in mind. I want to talk about advertising. Mostly this chart, which I'll zoom in and put up on screen. Future Mark here really quick. I'm going to talk about this chart a lot. Future Mark is telling you that this chart is a dual axis, vertical axis chart. On the left and in the yellow line is my ad spend with Google, and the green line and dictated by a scale on the right that I have conveniently cut off, okay, is the revenue of the store. I do not feel like telling you my store revenue, but you can get an idea of what we're looking at here. The store revenue is far above what the Google spend is, but it's just easier for me to put them both on the same graph so we can see them hand in hand. Back to regularly scheduled programming. And it's one vendor in particular. It is Google. Google Adwords. And I've been in this business for 20-something years. I've been spending with Google since 2006. Okay, in 2006 we spent a meager sum of probably, I don't know, 5 or 10 grand or so on advertising. And over the years that number grew. But as that number grew, you know what else grew? Revenue. Oh my goodness. And this is one of the big things about advertising. It's the attribution of the advertising dollars you spend to what the store makes. And back in the day, when it was pretty much just Google and maybe one or two others, attribution made a whole lot of sense. If Google says, hey, let's say you spent 10K and we can attribute on your website, $50,000 worth of sales, you got a 5X ROAS, return on ad spend. There's a lot of acronyms. I'll try not to use any that don't make sense. So you should be spending more money, and that's all fine and good. However, nowadays, with all these different advertising channels, whether it be Google through AdWords, shopping, whatever it is. When I say Google, I mean their whole suite of marketing. Mic check, it was good. Or is it Reddit, which we advertise on now as well? Is it our email platform, right? We send you an email and you click in. That's got attribution to it. We remarket to you via texting and other kinds of emails. That has some sort of attribution. Anything, you read an article on a website and we're mentioned. That's attribution. So you have all these different ways that people are coming to your website, and whenever someone sees a sale and they say, oh, well, they saw your ad 10 days ago and now they purchased. That's a view-through conversion. Well, how do I know it's because they saw the ad? Maybe they read about it on Reddit. Maybe they're on What You Seek. Maybe they saw it on Facebook. All these other blended things start to come in, and I, over the last several years, as well as Clinton, the head of marketing, have come to seriously doubt the attribution numbers that people throw out. So when I show you this chart, keep in mind, this is just Google ad spend since 2006 through 2024. And over the years, as we spent more, yes, as I was saying a little while ago, revenue crept up and kept up with the spend. And they're pretty much neck and neck. And you'd think, wow, this is going great. You really need to spend more money. And that's what brings us to the video for the most part for the last couple of years, and they're probably watching. Google has been hammering me to spend more money. Mark, look at your return on ad spend, and you only spent, let's say in a certain sector, $500 a day. You should crank that up to $3 grand a day. It's gonna run rings around everything. And we did a limited test about a year and maybe it's about a year ago or so, maybe a year and a half ago. And we crept it up, and we didn't see the increase that everyone thought we would see. And that's what planted more seeds in my mind, because the only people that win at the Google game or the Reddit advertising game or whatever advertising game is the advertiser. So I feel when I look at this chart in the beginning, yes, I was being helped by the advertising dollars that I was spending with Again, I'm saying Google because they were my largest advertiser by a long shot. Yes, I was helped along, no doubt. They propelled me. I can't say I propelled them, but they propelled me. Much in the way that back in the early 2000s, there was a book vendor online, you may have heard of them, called Amazon, and they started to sell wristwatches. They started to sell third-party stuff right through the marketplace. And one of the things they ventured into was wristwatches. My store was beta on Amazon for wristwatches back in like 2003, 2005 timeframe. And I became a trusted Amazon vendor. I've chronicled my journey with them on this channel, as well as our breakup a number of years ago. And there is no doubt that over the years, they helped propel my business into what it is. They helped me generate revenue. At the same time, they used me to figure out what watches sell so they can go procure them themselves, whatever. And then we broke it off because I felt they outgrew me. I used them. So they don't need me, they're doing fine. I feel like I'm coming to the same point now with Google. Via this channel, number one, all the subscribers, people that tune in to watch, I have a very large audience. I don't necessarily need to pay to kind of reach people. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. I feel that again on this chart that as it's getting towards the end, I don't feel like it's the spend. I feel like it's the store that is generating this. Before, Google was the horse pulling the cart. Now I feel like it might be the cart that is almost pushing the horse in a way. So you notice back in 2021, there was a decent dip in advertising, and that was done with cognizance. 2021 was our first full year of COVID. Things were certainly changing. Business was kind of coming in a lot because everyone was stuck at home. So we didn't have to do the spend that much. We ramped it down and revenue kind of stayed flat. Revenue, to be honest, is kind of flat the last few years within 10% or so, if you call that flat. I know in some corporations that's awesome. But for me, I look at this whole chart and I'm like, the last few years are flat. But don't get me wrong. The flat part is amazing and it's excellent for the business. However, starting 2025, well, let me back up. We're on these calls with Google, right? And we question it. We question the spend. It inevitably comes out, well, just turn it all off and see what happens. And yeah, that's kind of what I'm going towards. I feel like doing that, just killing the switch altogether and seeing what happens to the revenue. Remarketing, shopping, everything. Just cut it off. And let's see what happens to revenue. Do you guys really, well, maybe not everybody watching, but do new customers really funnel in through Google that strongly based on the information they provide me? I don't know, but that's where I am, and that's what really brought on this video. Just killing the switch and rolling the dice and seeing what happens. Because you can tell from the numbers that I spend a year, 354, no, it's over that, right? 2024, we spent $425,000 in Google advertising. That's insanity. Now, I will show you where we are in 2025. Beginning of 2025, a conscious effort was made between myself and Clinton to slaughter the Google budget. Now, keep in mind, there is a Reddit ad budget, which is not shown here, which I don't want to say pales in comparison to the Google one. It's probably about 15 or 20% of it, but it's not shown here. That we definitely think is helping us, but who knows? Maybe we'll turn that one off too. But for 2025, where we are now, I kind of estimate that we're going to land at about 200K in our total advertising budget. That's not just Google. That is total. Keep in mind, this whole chart that you're looking at, this is just Google. There are other advertising things that raise this even higher, like I said, especially Reddit. But 2025, our total advertising budget that we pay out is going to be roughly, I'm guessing, $225 or so, $210,000, $220,000. My revenue will be higher than 2024. So I don't know, what the hell does that mean? Can we cut it all off and see what happens? I don't know, but my whole purpose in doing this video was to talk to you, have a candid conversation about advertising, so that you know what it takes to run a business. No doubt in the beginning, I needed the advertising to help propel the business, but now that the machine is running, doesn't rely on it as much. Am I getting the same value out of it? This is the question I do not know the answer to. I do want to find out the answer to it, and the answer may lie in just cutting off the faucet completely. But that's it. This has been Mark from LongOnWatch.com talking about advertising spend. What a fun topic. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you've not done so. Questions, comments, anything else you want to say, you can put it down below. I'll be sure to address as soon as I can. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.